My name is Germana Ravanelli. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a mind-body healer, a personal trainer, a nutritional therapist. I was taught that health is harmonizing the body, the mind, and the spirit. Hi there. Welcome to a episode of how to cook protein-based pancakes that you can eat and stay, in alignment with your weight loss goals, and you can actually turn it into a lovely dessert. I was introduced to this by one of the trainers that I hired a few years ago, and I loved it. It was so nice because, we're going to use egg whites. We're going to use an egg. We're going to use some flaxseed that is not ground yet. We're going to use some oats, a third of a cup, and about 3/4 of a cup of egg whites. And I'll also put berries in there. And if it's a dieting down phase, then you might put some greens in there and then it looks green. But you can make these and stack them and leave them in the fridge and have them as snacks. One whole pancake is a meal. And the beauty of it is it's low in insulin spiking. It's got enough protein to keep you happy. It's got enough carbs to keep your blood sugar balanced. And it's got some of those fabulous fats that we need. When we want to be healthy, we need all of the building blocks. So we need bioavailable protein. Ideally, it comes from an animal. I'm not a big egg white person. I get really sick of this stuff after a while. But this is just a nice little treat. And when I'm really wanting to kind of have a treat, I'll have this and I'll put real maple syrup on it. And it's amazing. So I'm going to blend it. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to cook it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why this is just an easy, simple meal. A lot of people get sick of eating meat. I do. We need about 30 grams of protein in each meal that we're going to eat if we want to avoid losing muscle mass and we want to keep our metabolism boosting. So if you're training, the training is when we break down our tissue. That's when we actually create trauma. Boom, boom, boom. And the only time we actually get the benefit is if the body gets the nutrition, which is critical, and the sleep. Those two pieces have to come in. That is the key. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just go on there and they pound the living hell out of their body. And they're like, why don't I see a change? And usually it's a byproduct of, sometimes it's overtraining. Sometimes it's not enough sleep. Sometimes it's, it's one or two little things. But most people forget that we are a universe. This body is a multifaceted being that we have, that we get to use. And if we want to take care of it, and we take care of it, with little things, they make the biggest difference. So I'm going to weigh this. We're going to hear the blender in a few moments. So forgive that. I'm going to put about 3/4 cup of egg whites in here. A third of a cup of oats. They're dry. 1 egg. I've been thinking about doing this for a while. It's actually quite a treat. A tablespoon of flax that is not ground, and I will put in what I have purchased because blueberry season came in. I think it's still happening, but I buy about $300 worth of blueberries every season, and I put them in the freezer. So I have blueberries. I put that whole thing in if I want for the winter. One of the doctors that I listen to, Dr. Daniel Amen, he's a brain specialist. He calls blueberries brain berries. So you'll notice everything here is natural, other than the egg whites. Sorry about that. So here we go. Hit the blender. So now I'm going to turn my back to you, I think, and pour it into the pan. I have no idea if you can see the pan. You might be able to see the pan, but the pan's hot. So at one point, not that long ago, I was prepping for a show, and I trained really hard with this one trainer, and she's fabulous, for about 1.5 years. And then I was prepping and leaning out, and I was able to eat this. You don't put the maple syrup on it, but we're not leaning out to that degree. And about 6 weeks before I was supposed to step on stage, I got COVID, and I was like, I am so done. Because the reality is that it's a huge commitment. It is a lifestyle, and the food is everything. A lot of people go, oh, I don't understand why I'm not getting change. And I'm like, well, what are you putting into your mouth? What are you putting into your body? One of my new clients, she's been a client before, and she sort of came back and she goes, I want to do bodybuilding. And I said, do you have any idea how difficult that is, and the commitment and the economics? It's quite expensive. And she goes, well, I'm ready. And I said, okay. And I set her up on her diet, and I gave her a diet very similar to one that I would have taken when I was in like 135 pound range and shredding down. And she goes, wow, all this food, this is amazing. How come so much food? I said, well, the food actually tells your body it's okay to lose fat. And she has lost about 14 pounds in a little bit less than 2 months. And she's shocked. And I said, most people will hire a trainer and then they'll go, and I'm going to control this part and this part and this part. And I'm like, well, then you're going to have, less benefit, less positive outcome, because now you're trying to say you know better. And when you hire a trainer, if you don't trust the trainer, then own it. And that's okay too. But if you really want to see the change, then you want to go, what am I doing with my food? And food is everything. Food is about 80% of your outcome. So ideally, you're going to eat at least 4 to 5 meals a day. I know that sounds crazy, with 30 grams of real protein. So that can come as a protein powder. That can come as egg whites with an egg. That can come as some chicken breast, about 120 grams. That can come as, I wouldn't eat a lot of tuna. Tuna gets boring too. Half a cup of rice to go with that, a little bit of mayo, and a little bit of seasoning, and now you got a little meal with some vegetables. But the whole idea is the rhythm. Every 2 to 3 hours, you're having another meal, and that's telling your body there's enough food, and then it will not hoard the fat that you're carrying. It'll go, we can use this now, which sounds strange. So let's just see how the pancake's doing. It's going to need a little bit longer, and I don't know if I'll keep this video open that long. So the pancake needs to be poured into a very hot pan with a little bit of oil, and then you flip it, turn it off, and then you can leave it and stack them and have them as snacks and meals. And this type of food is fabulous. It's fabulous because it's enjoyable. It almost feels like you're having a little bit of a treat. You're not blowing your diet, so then you're also not feeling deprived. And food is pleasure as well as what is this doing for my body. And I'm a little bit of a food snob, I would say. The reason for it is this is dumb, but we are absorbing about 80,000 chemicals a day unknowingly with our body. Our body's this giant sponge. And so back when we had grandparents, if your grandparents are alive, hug them, they absorbed about 40,000 chemicals a day. Normally, as a daily practice. We are almost double now because of the chemicals in our home. We're using cleaning products that are full of chemicals. If a baby gets that in their mouth, they go to the hospital. So, the shampoo, the conditioner, all of those things are full of chemicals, and our body has to absorb them, and the body has to eliminate them. So that's just those things. What about the food? If you're eating a dairy product that comes from a feedlot animal, you are eating hormones, chemicals, pesticides, glyphosate. You're also incredible amounts of things I won't say because you'll be upset, but it's not worth it to save the $2. Is if you're eating butter, you want to pay the extra money, and if you can, just buy organic butter. It's super healthy for you. If you're going to do cottage cheese, you pay the extra $2 and you buy the organic cottage cheese. And the reason for that is you can't eat from a diseased plant and be healthy, and you can't eat from a diseased animal and be healthy. It's just not possible. And most of us have been brainwashed, and we're just eating the packaged stuff. And when you eat packaged stuff, you're putting a really strange message in your body, and your body can't thrive. So if you want to lose weight, you have to be healthy, which means you need to put real food in your body that your body knows what to do with. Let's see how the pancake's going. A little bit hotter. food is everything. I spent about 16,000 US dollars becoming a nutritional therapist. I went to the States, and the stuff that I learned made me very, very sad, because I realized that the corporations are in bed with the government. So they pay the government off, everyone's paying each other off, and they have labeling laws. They don't have to actually tell you what's in that food, the micro trace amounts of mercury and all the rest of it. And we absorb that into our body, and then we wonder, why do I feel sick? So ideally, you want to go to the place of, where did my food come from? Did it come from local? Are they spraying? Like if you eat grains, I hate to say this to you, most of the grains, unless they're certified organic, have been sprayed 5 to 6 times with Roundup, which is also known as glyphosate, which is a pesticide. And then, you're eating trace amounts and you wonder why you don't feel well. So ideally, you want to get away from chemicals that are in the food supply. And if you eat steak from an animal that was fed grains that were full of glyphosate, that animal flesh is riddled with it, and then you're eating it. And so now you're micro-poisoning. I'm almost going to flip it. Just hang on. Let's see if I can do this well. It's almost time. Oh, no. We got half, and then we got the other half. So we're doing it in 2 halves today. It's not perfect, but it tastes amazing. So the reason I'm sharing this with you, and I'm not Martha Stewart clearly, is to inspire you to go, where does my food come from? Am I eating real food, or am I consuming chemicals by DuPont? And you need to think this through, particularly if you want to have a healthy, long-term life. Otherwise, your health span will deep sex. Your lifespan might last, but you'll suffer. We're suffering anyway in many ways, but how do you protect yourself in a world full of negativity and full of toxins and full of weird, scary, effed up people? Just don't be one of them. Like, take care of yourself. So I'm going to end this video. I will put the ingredients for this protein pancake in the subject, in the drop down portion. And, if you like what you hear, feel invited to, leave a comment. I make this also with strawberries. It's lovely. I also make it with greens. I'll put greens in there, and then they all look green. Thank you for your time.